ado, I'd like to welcome Danny. Danny, if you can come online, say hello, and please take it away.
Hey, how's it going, Ryan? Thanks for having me. Can you see me okay? I don't know. I'm seeing
You look as handsome as ever.
All right, guys. Hey, so, my name's Daniel. Appreciate you having me. First and foremost, I just want to share, this is more about my story and journey into the NFT space. I've been working in entertainment and, new media since 2003. I started off at Interscope Records and, really come from more of an entertainment background and also on the creative side. Like I've been developing websites for almost 20 years now. So, and web projects. So, appreciate you having me here. And I will say this, I just want to start off also by saying, I don't want to come off like an NFT expert. There's a ton of information online that people can go and look up, and the space is evolving so quickly. So again, I just wanted to focus really on the opportunities that I see in the space, kind of my vantage point, and really like the best thing I can speak on is who I am and my testimony in this space. So I will say this just to get started, like the funny thing is, before I even got into the NFT space and started learning about it, I was like getting into these collector cards. So this is like my Luca card, the PSA, it's got this QR code behind it, and I'll kind of explain like kind of how things have evolved. And like, I like, I've been into collectibles ever since I was young. I used to love, ripping open these packs. Like I started playing around with even like the Hot Wheels stuff. So just this collectibles phenomenon has been really cool to watch and see kind of grow. So with that here, I'll share my screen and let's get it going. All right, so present. All right, so NFTs for white artists and creatives. Just like I said, I'm going to just speak a little bit about my thoughts on the space and maybe how it applies here to local Hawaii artists with opportunities here that I see. But in 2003, I started interning at Interscope Records. I started my first company, Deep Fry Productions. We did websites and web projects for celebrities like Lady Gaga, Gwen Stefani. We've done things for Beats by Dre, Kanye, a bunch of other people in the space. Really heavy in web development, online branding, digital marketing, and some mobile tech. In 2011, I started Merch Labs and started investing in like little startups and like, and actually that's how I got into the NFT space and just like looking at opportunities and seeing things that we were interested in and excited about, and started investing in my own companies, and we really went into the e-commerce sector, merchandising and the influencer space. And over maybe the last 10 years, we've done over 500 e-commerce shops launched, work with some of the top influencers in social media and celebrities. And this year, actually in 2021, got into the NFT space earlier this year around February 8th, early 2021. It started, the first name was Merch NFT because I have a company called Merch Labs, and I was like, oh, can there be a tethering of physical merchandising and NFTs? We've landed on a new name called Meteor NFT, and that's the current project I'm working on with, blockchain developers and some other guys that are very passionate about the space and feel really excited about what we're working on. And in that process, launched NFT for Good. I just heard that, this was just a name that we had that we wanted to do, and I'll share that a little bit more. And, we started, I put out AlohaNFT as something that we could help local white artists get acclimated to the NFT space. And in that campaign, we did over, $80,000 that we raised for AAPI charities, Hate is a Virus, and Gold House with the Stop Asian Hate movement. So I'm pretty happy and pleased with how that turned out. And also I'm patent pending on a QR NFT redemption card system, which I'll share a little bit later. So yeah, in the beginning, how I got started, like I got into crypto in 2017. I kind of heard about it with some of my really smart friends that were like, very deep in programming and development, and they were really excited about blockchain. And, for me, I'm a big fan of kind of like, sticking around smart people and listening to them and trying to understand what gets them excited. And that's kind of when I started, acquiring a little bit of crypto, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I started learning a little bit more about it, and I was like, wow, there's something really special about blockchain. So, by the way, Bitcoin hitting all-time highs, super exciting time right now in crypto. And, just in general, I remember going through crypto winter, and it was really brutal and it was really hard, but like, a lot of people that were hating on it back then, they're like going, hey, you said these things a long time ago. So, it's cool watching how things are evolving. But, like I said, I was into collecting cards, and, it's funny, my brother and I, or my brother and a friend of mine, I was camping in North Shore with my son and my wife. And literally within 15 seconds of each other, they were texting me like, hey, you should look into this NFT thing. And I had heard about NFTs, but they were like, you should think about the utility of, you're working with all these influencers with massive platforms, they have these communities. Like, how does it look like if you were to kind of integrate NFTs into Merch Lab? So I was already looking at doing like influencer collector cards, and I was like, oh man, like, could this work? So I heard a lot of people talking about NFTs. I was on Clubhouse pretty early, and a lot of people were discussing NFTs. And I was like, look, instead of like acting like an expert or like researching a bunch of stuff, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to jump in, figure out how to mint things, figure out what Rarible is, and figure out what OpenSea, like how the platforms work. And I just jumped in, and, like the first thing I minted, if you look right here, that's my son's painting. And I was like, I wonder if I could mint an NFT and see if my son could be the first kid on the blockchain as an NFT. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting. So I threw it up there, and, I minted his. And then once we figured out how the gas fees worked and how it kind of, was evolving, we approached one of our top influencers we work with. So Xavier Wolf, we've done a lot of, we do really well with him on merchandising. We're like, hey, maybe we could try an NFT campaign, which evolved from here to our own platform that we launched. And then I also had a friend that was a celebrity photographer, and, he had done photos for like Steve Aoki, Lady Gaga, Kim Kardashian. So he had IP that he owned, and we started minting those. And that was kind of the early stages of my journey into the NFT space. So this NFT gold rush, at the beginning, I was like, I have no idea what the heck all this stuff is. This feels super frothy. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I started jumping onto NBA Top Shot. I kind of liked it because it reminded me of my old collecting days where I'm opening up packs, and you could see, what your value of your cards were, or what the demand was for your cards. I was like, oh, this is a really cool platform. So, the funny, I found this meme is like, sell me this pen, and like, it's an NFT. Oh, everything's an NFT now. So I got to just kind of watch like the beginning, not the beginnings. Like there was obviously CryptoKitties and some of these other communities that had already been around, but like this massive gold rush where, you're seeing, the first tweet sell for 2.9 million. There was a NBA Top Shot of LeBron James dunking that sold for $200,000. And then there was like a sale of a clip art of a rock that sold for 1.3. And as much as I think it's interesting, I'm just evaluating and watching and seeing how the dust will settle, right? So, my opinion, not just my opinion, but like what you'll find out there and kind of what's emerging, I feel like it's why are people buying NFTs? Well, three main components I think that are out there is one, the utility is like, how are the NFTs being used, which is something I've also struggled with. Like at the beginning of taking an NFT of an image and just minting it, that was the beginnings. And now that like more people are starting to get involved, I think the utility is becoming more and more important. So I've been looking more into the community and like how NFTs can be used as access or, even proof of attendance or proof of like I was there because it's minted onto the blockchain or ledgered on the blockchain. And, there is proof there. Also the entertainment components of NFTs. So like, the gamification like NBA Top Shot, has done, watching the prices go up, kind of like Robinhood, what they've done with their mobile app, and being able to kind of gamify the process of buying and selling and doing that. I think, you know, that's another component of NFTs to make people feel like they're, you know, they're hodling, or, you know, they got their NFTs, why it's special. And also like the social capital, which, you know, I put a couple images of like celebrities. It's like now people are using their NFTs as their profile photos, like Steph Curry using his Bored Ape Yacht Club, or Snoop Dogg using his CryptoPunks, and Steve Aoki with his own NFT project. And if you look at Steve Aoki's right here, it's like, you know, if you hold enough of my NFTs, you get to come to my, you know, some of my shows for free, join my Discord so you can get more info. Discord has been really big that I've seen in the NFT space as well. So there's like this like flex and like being early and in the know that I think the next generation is, you know, this is a really not important, like, yeah, important and like, you know, fun thing to be a part of. So that leads me to the company I'm working on right now. So I have AlohaNFT. We actually kind of put things on pause until we can kind of develop out a little bit more tech behind it and utility. But I've you know, partnered with a handful of really smart people on my team, and we're developing out creator NFT communities. So these are actually some slides from the pitch deck. We were talking to a couple investors and kind of going through certain things. So, you know, the thesis is really like, one, people love to collect things, you know, like I was showing you my cards. You got Gary Vee collecting his football or baseball sports cards. You got DJ Khaled with like the sneaker game, sneakerheads, you know, you're buying shoes, not wearing it, and buying and selling on StockX, and, you know, prices go up on, you know, the Travis Scotts or whatever you might have. And, you know, that space is exploding. You got Logan Paul there that's got his Pokemon chain necklace that he wore to the Floyd Mayweather fight. And, you know, he claims it's worth like $1 million. So, you know, and, you know, people have collected things for a very long time. And I think, you know, the space is evolving, right? So like in 2020, at the end of 2020, I started getting into like the collector space, like collectible card space and collector space a little bit more. And beginning of 2021, started really digging into it and just watching, like, just being like mesmerized by like, wow, like these cards are selling like crazy. And if you look at the, you know, the growth in the collector card space, it's been pretty massive. And also the NFT space has been exploding. And to me, I see them going hand in hand. I think, I don't know whether it's the pandemic or people are reevaluating and rethinking why they like certain things, or there's a nostalgia effect, or, you know, being home, there's more time, but there's something that happened that I believe people have been gravitating towards this collector sphere. And I think NFTs to me is like the perfect, it was the perfect timing of all this other momentum that's been happening. And look, no one can refute it. Like when I first got into this, like there was nothing going on, like back in February, you know, like when I started exploring things, yeah. And like, look, the Beeple piece sold for 69 million. A lot of people are scratching their heads, but like it happened, right? And CryptoPunks community, it's probably worth even, the market cap's probably even more now. This was some data I found maybe a week or two ago, but you know, if you've been following CryptoPunks and the Bored Ape Yacht Club, it's been crazy. Like it's been going nuts. And again, I think as more celebrities and influencers adopt this, it's definitely, you know, getting more traction. And, you know, you're seeing a $2 billion market cap for CryptoPunks, 60 million in sales transactions. And, you know, one of the kind of interesting pieces that I saw was this Tory Lanez drop that he did. He sold 1 million in 57 seconds. And, you know, coming from a music background, him talking about how he went platinum and not even selling a music album. I think these are the interesting things for me that I feel have a lot of potential in this space for growth. So, you know, what did we do? Like, so, you know, we launched, like I said, it's Meteor NFT, but we launched it as merch NFT, but, you know, we created these NFT collectible physical cards. We had an easy NFT redemption, which we had a QR code where you did a one-click redemption on it. There was an affordable pricing model. So, you know, we weren't trying to do like the $10,000, $100,000 drops. So I was like, look, let's try to get it under 100. Or even now these days, thinking of how can you sell it in that like NBA Top Shot model where it's like even $5, $10 just so people could participate, like making it more palatable and easier for new NFT collectors to get in the market, and tethered exclusives, like whether it's the card or merchandising and trying to gamify it. So here's like a little video on, what we did. I think this might just kind of share it a little easier. So here we go. So that was kind of the idea behind, the first iteration of what we launched as a platform. So what we did, we knew the influencers didn't know what an NFT were. There was a lot of confusion in what it was. So we're like, look, we'll do everything for you. So we took, whether it was their image or their idea, and then we turned it into an art piece ourselves. And then we used the influencer channels to promote it. And then we did a split profit on whatever costs that were up front, we would recoup, and then we would just split the profit. So there was really no risk on the influencer or creator side. We did over $100,000 in 30 days when we started this campaign. So, we did a campaign with Xavier Wolf, and we incorporated a vinyl album, some merchandising, plus the NFT. Rampage Jackson, he's an MMA legend and Hall of Famer. And we did a couple tiers of NFTs that you could purchase, like a gold edition and a silver edition. And there was that model there. And then like the biggest campaign we actually launched, and we pivoted into this, was the stuff we did for the AAPI community. Really the way it worked was like, I had already an existing network of a lot of friends that were celebrities. So, we've been working with influencers for over 10 years, partnering with them on merch. We activated all these influencers. This is some photos of like, fitness influencers with millions of followers. I'm friends with the guys over the Kinges, and that's Sean T and Dante Bosco. So these are like friends of mine that I've worked with for many years, and, been able to do a lot of really good business with them. So that was kind of like the original network to kind of get things moving. And this is the NFT for Good campaign, where we raised $80,000. Again, there's a little video, so maybe I could just share this and then I can go into a little bit more. But so that was that. And, it was a really cool campaign. We got, and this is probably what I can probably share a little bit more of, but like, the way we did it was we did a 1-week campaign, and we were working on like this NFT platform, but like, I'm Korean American and I have a lot of friends back in California. And when, a lot of these attacks on Asian elderly people were really disturbing to me, and it started happening in my own, like my hometown. And, a lot of my friends were like really disturbed by this. So, the idea happened where, funny, like my friend was, connected me to Kelly Me, that was a producer of Bling Empire. And we're like, hey, could we do something with Bling Empire to raise awareness for Stop Asian Hate? Had a meeting with her, and instead of, we were thinking, oh, can we get 8 of the cast to get involved? And then it turned into other friends of ours were like, we think other people would want to be involved in this. Can we use the NFT technology to raise awareness and kind of build off the momentum of what's going on in the space? So, the number came up was, can we get 88 Asian American influencers? So that was a challenge. And we were like, hey, look, we're friends with, some of the folks over at Hate is a Virus and Gold House, and they've been doing some really good things. We want to do a campaign that we donate 100% of it to what's going on. It was heartbreaking seeing everything. So, there was a mass shooting in Atlanta, and I remember we were all like really not feeling good about things. We're like, look, let's launch this for Asian Heritage Month. So, on May 1st, we decided to launch this campaign, and Clubhouse was a really big component to everything. So, I had met a lot of a lot of big NFT influencers, a lot of people in the crypto space I got to connect with. And that's like a screenshot of, our official launch, back in May. And, it had celebrities like Jim Quick was there, Mike Song, like Jackfruit, like a lot of these people that were supportive of our cause, they hopped on, and that's really what I think helped build this thing. And like I said, I think to make a successful NFT campaign, you have to have a pretty strong creative concept that people, at least, at the beginning, maybe you can get away with just putting things up, but like nowadays, I think having a strong creative concept is important. Having a community that will back you, and then three, figuring out how to promote it. So, we did get buy-in from a lot of really powerful and influential Asian American influencers. So like Brandon Lee, he's like a professional, undefeated professional boxer, future champ in my opinion. But he, this is like a leaderboard that we did, and it kind of created this competition within these influencers. Like Kevin Lin, he's the co-founder of Twitch. Day One Song, the skateboarder, Dante Bosco, the original Rufio, Dave, an he's a venture capital investor. Jay Chong from the groups, K-pop group Solid. Paul Song, he's what's it called? I'm blinking real quick, sorry. Oh yeah, Lisa Ling's husband, and Bing Chen, the founder of Gold House, and Ben, he's formerly of Jabberwockies and Kinjas. But there was a leaderboard that kind of gamified this, and we used social media a lot. And then we did a end countdown to close out the campaign, where we did a last push, and we ended up raising a little over 80,000. We got a $30,000 donation from Whale Shark because he really liked what we were doing. So in total we sold about $50,000 of NFTs, and then $30,000 donation from Whale Shark. And this is kind of what was happening during the campaign. So Ronnie Chang, he would promote it and repost. Jim Quick, he's a friend of ours too. He posted. Steve Chen, the co-founder of YouTube, I got in touch with him, and we were talking, and showed him how the cards work and stuff. He pushed to Kevin Lin from Twitch. Whale Shark, NFT, kind of promoted our stuff at NFT on Instagram, promoted. And yeah, even Julian Edelman, from NFL, he got behind the project. But yeah, there's Jay Chung, AJ Raphael, Jimmy O Yang, Dante Bosco. So we social media was really a heavy component of all this. So how that leads to AlohaNFT. So I was, after the NFT Good for Good campaign, it was a ton of work, and obviously this was all charity, so we didn't make any money on it. We were just like, hey, let's do something good. I honestly think my team got pretty burned out afterwards, because we put in so many hours for about a month and a half, and we just kind of took a break. And then I was here in Hawaii, and I was doing this Hawaii Professionals Happy Hour on Clubhouse every Thursday for almost 4 or 5 months at that point. And I was committing to it because I was meeting some really good people on there. That's where I got in touch with the Hawaii Entrepreneurs group. Those guys have been great, and partnering with them on different projects, and also Hawaiiverse and some of these other groups that I got in touch with. And one of the ideas was looking at different opportunities here in Hawaii. So AlohaNFT came up, and that's really what I was look, there is no real marketplace for Hawaii artists. Can we help Hawaii artists learn about NFTs and get on? And that was a big struggle, because people were what is an NFT? How does it work? Well, do I own the rights and all these different things? So just kind of figuring out how to take all the stuff we learned with NFT for Good and kind of the early influencer onboarding, and enabling local artists, that was kind of the vision. So my co-founder Kaiulani, she's from the Waianae side. She has, like, her mom is an artist that's over at the Bishop Museum, and she had a community of artists that she was in touch with. She started onboarding a handful of them. Honestly, it was, you know, it was hard because we were trying to explain it, and I was trying to figure out how to simplify it. So we're like, look, you know, we make these cards, and just give us a JPEG and we'll turn it into something that can be minted onto the blockchain. And one of the big things for us too was, how do we do something that was not carbon, you know, it had friendly carbon footprint. It was eco-friendly. So we actually, like, we were doing things on ETH early on, but we felt like as we were starting to learn more and more about what people wanted outside of what we were trying to do, like, you know, we landed on Wax. We felt like it was a pretty good blockchain to kind of work with. But, you know, recently we've been also looking into Tezos, what's it called, Polygon, and some, you know, Cardano, and some of these other blockchains. But that's kind of how AlohaNFT started. So, you know, the way it really works is, you know, we take the artist's image, you know, I don't charge anything up front. It's really invite only. So, you know, you can go on the website and join the wait list, but it is invite only. And yeah, we just, you know, it was a fun project that we, as a small community of a couple locals here, of entrepreneurs and forward-thinking people, were like, hey, let's put this up and see if we could help the artist community here. So, you know, we were like, hey, the artist retains 100% of the artwork. And, you know, we just felt like it was a great way of introducing local artists in Hawaii, this, in my opinion, this massive opportunity in the NFT space, which I believe we're still in, like, the first or second inning of, you know, a long journey in NFTs. So again, like, if anyone thinks they're an NFT expert right now, I would care to argue that, because I think the space is going to evolve a lot more than where it's at right now. And I just think it's a really cool time to learn and grow and be open-minded about where this could be. So that leads me to Hawaii 2.0 and some of the opportunities we had been discussing on Clubhouse and with the Hawaii Entrepreneurs Group. We've been discussing different, like, projects. So, you know, I was here, like, during, you know, in the thick of the pandemic, and, you know, I got to hear a lot of voices on Clubhouse of a lot of the problems. And, you know, just bottom line, Hawaii is very reliant on tourism to sustain the economy. The pandemic had a huge impact on the economy here. And just bottom line, you know, and I would talk about this in our, you know, Hawaii Professionals Happy Hour, like, we can't rely on the old systems. You know, one of the Governor Glenn Wakai, he would hop into the rooms, and he was really generous about talking and discussing things as well. And he was really open-minded about, like, future progression of Hawaii. But, you know, it's just really, like, it starts with an idea and a thought, and then discussion, and then action, and then change can happen. So, you know, one area that we thought was something powerful is technology, which hopefully everyone in this room or anyone watching this, I do believe that Hawaii has a lot of potential for growth in this area. You know, and I remember Governor Ige, he wrote this thing on Hawaii 2.0, and I actually wrote him back, and I got in touch over email, and I was like, look, I'm passionate about figuring out how I can maybe bring in some of my experience and resources from California, or, you know, the friends I have up in Silicon Valley, and the way, you know, things worked back over there, and how can we integrate some of these learn tools and things into Hawaii a little bit more, whether it be e-commerce, whether it be crypto or blockchain, or, you know, programming, or whatever it might be. I just feel like the move into technology sector is really important, I think, to think about right now. So, you know, why I believe Hawaii is perfect for growth in technology. Well, tech is not reliant on location. I have been remote working for over a year now with my team all in Anaheim, California. But also I have like programmers and developers that are global. I also use Upwork. I use, you know, different resources, and I'm you know, I have a team in the Philippines that I work with. You know, I've worked with different teams all over, and I just believe we're working in a global environment where it's not location dependent anymore. I think it's the perfect environment. I mean, we have so many smart people here in Hawaii to focus on tourism and maybe developing products out of Hawaii, I think is great, but I don't know if it's going to be as productive, or I believe the opportunities in the next few years, if we start focusing more on crypto and maybe blockchain technology and programming, e-commerce, these type of businesses, I think there's a lot of potential here. And I just think like there's a huge post-pandemic attraction. Like, look, hopefully the pandemic will be, I do believe it's tailing off. I think people are reevaluating what they're doing in their lives. I know a lot of programmers, high-level talented people in Silicon Valley that are looking to leave because they don't want to be stuck in like a little condo or, you know, a box, but, or not even move, but like to travel, right? So to be able to track people here, I've already had like a handful of meetings with some influencers and investors here in Hawaii. They've come, and I feel like this is a great hub. And I think there's a big opportunity of growth in e-commerce, mobile app development, blockchain, and other tech sectors. So again, one of the things for me that I found, you know, with cryptos, NFT and beyond is, you know, I was having these meetings with people in, you know, Singapore, right? But then I was having meetings with people in San Francisco and also, you know, Los Angeles, and the time difference, as much as it is kind of like tough sometimes with the guys on the West Coast, like East Coast, it kind of worked out too. So it was like, it was great. Like I was having these meetings, you know, I had this call with Origin Protocol and with Pat from Rotten Tomatoes, and they were all out in Singapore. And I was like, look, you know, I could take those meetings, but then I'd have meetings with my influencer friends like AJ Raphael or, you know, Ben from Kinjas from Los Angeles. And I just felt like the time difference, and also as being like where they could travel here, I thought was, and take meetings here if we needed to, or do a hackathon or do like, you know, a 2-week sprint. You know, I feel like Hawaii, at least in my opinion, it's beautiful here. I mean, the attraction of location is one of the best in the world. Felt like it'd be a great place to attract like crypto and NFT talent and enthusiasts to collaborate. And bottom line, remote working is the new norm. You know, even my office, I'm trying to do more remote. I'm trying to get out of this like central work environment. Maybe the central workspace could be a collaborative space, but not so much where it's dependent on building your company. And yeah, one of the visions I had is like, you know, Hawaii was the Pro Bowl for NFL. I mean, could it be the Pro Bowl for NFTs? Could it be the Pro Bowl for crypto? You know, all the crypto people I talk to, they're like, I'd love to come to Hawaii. I know they're doing NFT.NYC, and I met the founders of that. And, you know, it's in New York City. I'm like, New York's great. No offense to New York, but it's cold, you know, in October and November, or I don't know. I mean, personally, if I had a choice, I would come to Hawaii. And if you can attract talent and you could collaborate, I mean, whether you meet for 3 days and then work on Zoom and work remotely, or you work for a week and you do a hackathon session, or you do like, you know, a sprint together here. I mean, doing business today and beyond is going to be much different than 10 years, 20 years ago. And I think I'm proof of it. I've launched already 4 or 5 different companies in the last like 8 months, all digitally. So it's been really interesting. I mean, some of them are actually doing like 6 figures at this point. And it's true testament of where we're going as not only a culture and community, but like a workforce. So getting back to kind of NFTs, where are we headed? You know, these are just some of my thoughts on the space. I don't know if everyone agrees, and this is just my vantage point, but, you know, I'm really big on membership access and really honing in on the community aspects of NFTs. And we're seeing that already. I also think there's something really cool about this fractional ownership. I also participate in this app called Rally, where they fractionalize assets like sports cards. Like you could buy a meteorite, you could buy like a car and have fractional ownership of it. And I think NFTs really simplified, like, in my opinion, crypto. A lot of people don't know, like, oh, crypto, it's like, what digital currency, like, how do you spend it? It was like, well, you know, now that you're kind of tethering it with physical assets, and I know people are doing things in the real estate sector and other areas that can be like palatable for crypto enthusiasts or people that don't understand anything about blockchain. I think that some of these evolutions are going to be really powerful. I think the creator economy, I think there's something really special there. I've been into the space for a very long time, and I think influencers already have baked in communities. And I think the projects in that space with social influencers are going to be really big. It's already big, and it's, in my opinion, it's going to get even faster, stronger, and better. And then, you know, something I'm really into right now and working on currently right now is product tethering. So as much as there's a lot of enthusiasts that are like, it should be pure meta, that's not what NFTs are. You know, for me, I'm like, look, bottom line for me is if I can get my 11-year-old son to want to get an NFT, if I can get the next generation to get excited about this space, that's cool. My kid, when I was doing NBA Top Shot, he was like, can I get in on that? I was like, do you even know what this is? And like, you know, the fact that he's like watching his dad get excited about, you know, pulling, you know, a low numbered, you know, NBA Top Shot card that is worth like maybe hundreds or if not thousands of dollars from a $9 pack is kind of cool. Like, you know, I just feel like there's just so much opportunity. Like, can you tether it with like, you know, you can't see me, I don't know if you can see me, but like, can you tether this Hot Wheels car, redeem the NFT, show proof of ownership, and, you know, your certificate of authenticity as an NFT, but also own, you know, the physical product and play with it in IRL or in real life and kind of do that. So, you know, to kind of like wrap up, you know, this is what I see kind of happening. Like, look, one of the cool, some of the things that I think are kind of cool, like 8Fest 2021 is happening at NYC.NFT, or sorry, NFT.NYC, you know, and they're doing this yacht party where, you know, they got a 1,000-person yacht and tickets are free for ape or mutant holders. And, you know, it's really showing that like, hey, if you got in early or you have the money to buy a current like NFT in the space, you're part of this exclusive community. And, you know, I think now there's an evolving utility. So even if you don't start with utility, I think with NFTs, because it's minted on the blockchain and it's there now, you can, you know, incorporate these different applications to it. And then they're doing like a Bored Ape Yacht Club warehouse party, you know, and it's free mint to all, you know, Bored Ape Yacht Club and, you know, mutant holders, which I think is interesting. And I think, you know, they did this map on the right. This is only part of the map, but they have a whole roadmap of where they want to go. And you guys could look that up more and just look up Bored Ape Yacht Club 8Fest 2021. You could read more about it, and even on the Discord channel. Fractional ownership. This was a prototype that we had an idea for with Meteor, where we're like, you know, could we, you know, we were talking to a crypto billionaire, and we might be working on a project with him. And we're like, hey, can you donate one of your cars, or, you know, maybe even some of the crypto, and incorporate that into an NFT project? So like, you know, can you fractionalize, you know, these campaigns where now you have the value of the NFT, but you also have a tethered physical asset that maybe the layman person can kind of understand. And I'm seeing this happen a little bit more in the space, but this was like a prototype of what this could look like. And then for the creator economy, we came up with this idea of like, how do we make NFTs easy for influencers and celebrities? I do know that there's a lot of new development coming out. So this is one of the ideas that we're probably going to table, and just not sure, like we see more, you know, there's like lazy minting and stuff. And then that's the crazy thing about the NFT space. It's just evolving very quickly. And the more people that are into it, I'll say this, like it's good. There's new perspectives, different thoughts on it. And in my opinion, friction, and I was telling Ryan this earlier, I think friction is not the worst thing. Friction is good, because where friction is, that's where growth happens. And, you know, as long as people are respectful and they're open-minded, that's where real momentum can be built. And so this was just one idea that we had, like, you know, being able to mint any one of your Instagram posts. So, you know, work with all these influencers and, like, you know, minting the first tweet. You know, who knows if these things are going to stick in 5, 10, 20 years. In my opinion, I think, honestly, a lot of them are not going to hold. You know, I think a lot of the projects that are out there, I'm not like hating on them, but, you know, personally, I just don't understand it yet. You know, I'm like, oh, okay, well, is that rock that you sold for, you know, however much, like $1 million really going to be worth? Maybe because it was the first, but everyone jumping into the space while all these projects hold, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, even AlohaNFT, I'll say this, like, we're just trying things out, and we want to grow with the community and evolve. And whether it's the pricing is not the right pricing, whether it's the fiat component, whether it's the crypto component, you know, I think it's really important for the community to be open and grow and learn. And, you know, I'll be the first to say, like, look, you know, AlohaNFT is not open to the public. It's invite only. And, you know, if I was an artist and I'm just encouraging people to learn more about NFTs. I think it's going to be here for a very long time. There's marketplaces like Foundation, OpenSea, Rarible. There's a lot of places out there. You know, there are some challenges with gas fees and maybe learning how to get on board. But once you start getting on board, like you can, you know, start, like I said, I didn't research a lot. I just jumped in and I learned through jumping in. And I feel like that's sometimes the best way of learning, especially with something like this that I believe is going to have a hockey stick of growth in the next few years. But yeah, I would highly recommend people to, you know, get involved, like into the space somehow as soon as possible, because I think this place is going to evolve significantly. And yeah, this is a project that we were working with, this crypto project that we were thinking through. We're tethering physical merchandise with NFTs and also maybe membership access. And you know, we are patent pending on our QR code system. So it's a patent that is a QR system on any type of physical good, whether it's a card or merchandise or anything like that. And yeah, so hopefully you guys aren't passed out, and that wasn't a good sleepy time tea for you guys. Hopefully this was entertaining, if there was anything informational. But again, that's my story, my take on things, and I really appreciate you guys hearing me out. But like I said, I you know, to kind of wrap up, you know, my theory on a lot of this stuff is this is a significant evolution to where web is right now. So where radio was, it turned into TV, that turned into internet, that turned into now social media, you know, borderline addiction, you know what I mean? Like social media craze. I think blockchain technology, and I think NFT is a massive evolution to the cultural adoption of blockchain and maybe what people would consider this crypto boom. But I love NFTs. I think NFTs to me is super interesting in the fact that there's a lot more utility in the cultural adoption. So, you know, where influencers and celebrities can get in, and creators, and like I'm doing a campaign with a politician that's campaigning next year. I was actually trying to do something with Andrew Yang's team, and you know, he actually just launched he's launching his own project. He's going all full force on crypto right now. But yeah, that's it. And yeah, Ryan, I'm gonna stop sharing, and hopefully I'm good on time. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully I wasn't muted and you guys saw that. Ryan, you there?
All right. So thank you for that. It was great to hear a lot about the system. We do have a lot of questions in the Q&A, but I wanted to start with a more general one. You know, a lot of people are skeptical of NFTs in general, and even crypto. You know, they think crypto is a big scam. And when you say stuff like, we want to make it easier for people to use it, we want to make it easier to understand crypto, a lot of people can look at that and say, isn't that also a way of saying you want to take advantage of people who don't understand crypto? You want to take advantage of influencers. So how do you address that, the simplification versus exploitation?
Well, I think this is a very interesting topic to think through. I think if people are selling
Proposed motion language, yes, right here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To revise the MLS rules and regulations section 13.05.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that it's you know, you gotta do your due diligence, your D&D. Like, you know, was GameStop a scam, right? Is stocks a scam, or ETFs a scam, or there's always new development, and there are going to be bad players in every space that are going to try to take advantage of things. My recommendation is don't get involved in things that you don't want to get involved with. And you know what, like, you know, research, don't just jump head first in. I think a lot of people will jump on all these altcoins because they're like, oh, this is great. You know, I personally stayed away from a lot of altcoins, but you have to do your due diligence to try to understand a little bit more. And if it connects with you, and you, you know, like the philosophy, or you like, you know, the direction of that personal that particular campaign, you know, jump in a little bit, right? But only as much as you're willing to. You know, I always look at crypto, and this is what I was taught early, like only put in what you're willing to lose. You know, don't, you know, I don't believe in, like, I mean, look, Bitcoin's at its all-time high. Like when I started getting in, I still remember people were super skeptical. And I just feel like anyone that's going to go too hard and say, this is it, this is going to be it. Like, you know, my platform is the ultimate platform. Like, how can you say that? It's so early. So again, even with AlohaNFT or these other platforms, like just participate as much as you feel comfortable with, and then learn and grow. And, you know, as you learn more about the space, you might jump in. Now, I'll say this though. I mean, the reality of it is a lot of these NFT projects did really well, right? So, you know, I could have bought a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT early on when the other people I knew were buying it, and I missed out and I got FOMO and I'm like, dang, right? So, you know, is Bored Ape Yacht Club a scam? Like when they first came, was CryptoKitties a scam? Was CryptoPunks a scam? You know, the skepticism always is there, and then, you know, and then it's not, because it actually works out. You know what I mean? So for me, I think healthy skepticism is always good. You should always question, and you always should vet things out, but at the same time, explore and only do things as, you know, you're comfortable with doing. But again, I think it's very early in the NFT space. And like I said, if you're skeptical, don't buy anything yet. Just maybe try minting some stuff. Maybe, you know, engage with people, you know, have conversations with people, learn about it until you feel comfortable. And then, you know, you can then kind of go a little deeper into the space, right? Hopefully that kind of answers that. Ryan, you there? You know, I'm gonna just keep moving. Let's see. Do these NFTs get burned after redemption? No. Well, once you redeem it, you get the NFT. So why Wax? Wax was a platform. So when I was minting on OpenSea and Rarible, at the beginning, we were like, you know, man, this is super expensive. I was like, who can afford like $100 every single time, or it was getting up to like $200-300 every time I was minting on something on the blockchain. I know that there's new ways of minting now, where it's like, I think you could sell the NFT and then you could pay, like the purchaser could pay for the gas fees. I think the cost of the barrier of entry, like for us, I was trying to figure out a way to get we were like, oh, how do you make the masses get introduced to NFT, and not these like, you know, major, like super wealthy individuals that can spend like 10, 20 ETH on an art piece. Not saying that that's bad. Like, you know, it's just not something I'm interested in. And, you know, if you can sell something for $1 million, you know, all praise to you. And that's great. But again, like I was more into the adoption of it and trying to go towards the community engagement side of NFTs. So that's kind of like where I focused on. And Wax was a platform. They were already working with Street Fighter, Garbage Pail Kids, and Tops and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, it's, you know, and I was hearing some good things about the platform. But again, it is kind of limited in some of the things that we want to do. So we've been looking into like Polygon, Cardano, and you know, Tezos and some of the other chains. But also, as we were talking to influencers, they were really particular about like the carbon footprint and the economic, or just what it would do to the environment, like what the environmental impact was. So that's kind of what we ran with. I see Spencer says, it seems that Daniel is offering to cover the cost of the mint gas fees on behalf of artists for minting services, but AlohaNFT is using the L2 Wax protocol, which has almost no gas fees, a fraction of a penny. So what is justifying the 35% commission they're taking if the minting costs are fractions of a penny? I mean, it's a good point, Spencer. So one of the things for me, I'm like, look, if you don't want to be on AlohaNFT, you can definitely go and you know, hop on to one of the other platforms. AlohaNFT was a concept that we had developed out a few months back. I'm trying to learn a little bit more about what local artists would want to have. But what we were doing, we weren't just taking NFTs and minting, and we were trying to curate the artwork. Some of the art, it was just like a photo of a sculpture. So we were involved in the actual creation of the artwork as well, and kind of the education process behind it. And 35% is what we had previously done with merchandising. So we kind of felt like, hey, if we're kind of taking the grunt of the work of processing the NFTs, uploading it and promoting it. And I was going to, you know, one of the ideas was to kind of work on the advertisement and the promotion of the platform. But again, very early stages and kind of going there. But dude, even with the questions, and it seems like there's a lot of questions about AlohaNFT, and I just want to share like it's still very early. So I'm just learning, and if these are definitely concerns that I would love to talk to our team about and kind of go from there. Ryan, I don't know what you want me to, if you're there, or if Ellen, if you're there, if this is kind
sure,
of...
you have a lot of questions about your platform specifically, and I think one thing that might assuage some of these very specific concerns from people who know this place very well, probably better than me, if not you, is can you talk about some of the competing platforms and what the differentiators are?
Yeah, look, I think, the biggest ones are Rarible, OpenSea. By the way, I see, Spencer, you got quite a bit of questions. I'm more than happy to like talk to you. It sounds like you're pretty deep into the space, but we don't have a ton of time on this. But yeah, like I said, there are a ton of other platforms out there that people could hop on. I'm just trying to work with local artists here in Hawaii, and very specific to building out the community here in Hawaii from a creative standpoint. So, if you're a programmer or you're a hardcore blockchain enthusiast, there might be your own philosophies on how that works. I'm looking at it from a partnering with artists and understanding and figuring out what their pain points are and how to get them on board. And, this was just a concept. So again, as we started, this was kind of the model that we set out with. It doesn't mean that it's not going to evolve or change as we put more energy and effort behind it, and something that the local community of the co-founders that we kind of I'm working with decided to start moving on. But yeah, I mean, look, you can go on tons of different, like I said, OpenSea, Rarible, there's Foundation, I think there's, you can go on there and just look up mint NFTs, but these are some of the big ones. Some of the crypto.com, you have some of these, you do need, one of the biggest challenges is I'm minting and I'm going to be in the sea of a ton of other NFTs. I know other people that are blockchain developers creating their own exchanges as well, and they're popping up almost every day. What's it called? Coinbase, they just, Coinbase just talked about launching their own exchange as well. So I think the amount of exchanges that are out there, you can look into. Again, AlohaNFT is specific for artists in Hawaii, and I'm also looking forward to working with artists and discovering more of their pain points to figuring out what a good product for them in the NFT space would be. Yeah, Ryan, is that good?
Thank you. And, I think we're running out of time. A lot of people have questions about your platform. I know they can contact you directly. Someone did ask very quickly if you can talk about like tax ramifications when you're looking at the same way people might collect actual luxury art. Is that even established or understood area?
I'm going to say this, Ryan. I love the answer of I don't know, right? Because I'm not going to talk. Some of the guys in this channel might actually be more versed in these particular areas than I am. So for me, I like talking about things that I know. I'm not going to say I have everything mapped out and it's perfect either. I think I have enough insight to understand that early stages, there's a lot of confusion and growth to be made. Like I was saying, to criticize a baby for it knows how to eat or crawl, I think it's foolish. I think you just want to see where the space goes. So, for that particular question, as far as tax ramifications, I don't think I'm the right guy to kind of give insight behind that. I do know that in the crypto space, it's been a big problem for people that have made a lot of money and cashed out. And I know a lot of people that have dealt with a lot of tax issues. And I'm in a Slack group of some pretty heavy crypto guys that I get a lot of information from, and they talk a lot about the tax. I haven't really, I've been hodling since the beginning. So I haven't really experienced any significant tax issues, but yeah. I did see one question though that I thought was kind of, they said, what do you see NFTs used here in Hawaii and beyond in the next 5 years? I thought that was a good question. And I'll just say this, I don't know. That's another thing I'm going to say. I don't know, but I'm hoping that the local community is humble enough to explore, right? And instead of kind of like, you know, acting like you know something, or I'm going to be a certain way and I'm going to like, you know, be this guy that's like, I'm the expert. I just think it's like, it's good to reach across the table and explore things with everyone from Hawaii. I think that's how great projects start and kind of build momentum, is to try to understand what the needs are from different communities and different people here. So I'm hoping that the artist community buys into NFTs. I hope that the programmers and the technologists want to work closer with the artists here in Hawaii, and maybe we can develop out some really cool projects. I know some friends that were doing a project in Maui, and they were donating to like an ocean ocean preservation effort called Chilling Chameleons. And I'm like, look, these are all beginning evolutionary chains of something I think could be much greater down the line. But I think it's really important to be humble about the space and to put on a learning cap. And you know, unless you're an expert and like, you know, then great, like maybe you know what the future is going to be. But me personally, the NFT space, I've seen it change like weekly. So as far as 5 years, I'm hoping that NFT, you know, like I put on there, I hope Hawaii could be the Pro Bowl of NFTs. I hope that Hawaii can attract more talent. I hope we could collaborate with more creators and people in the space. And this could be a flourishing economy in the crypto and NFT, you know, that world that is emerging. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for and what I could envision if we stay hungry and open-minded. If we're closed-minded and want to like force a certain perspective, I think that could be a problem in the growth. But yeah.
All right. Well, I love that there are a lot of questions. I know there's more that people want to know, but they're just going to have to find you maybe on Clubhouse. But we've come to the end of the session, and I'd like to thank Danny for your time today.